I want to give you a three-step process to help, start to analyze the FOMC minutes that are happening later today. And it doesn't have to just be for the minutes. It can be for any rate decision, any fundamental event, data, that sort of thing. There's really three steps. So the first one is establishing a baseline expectation going into the event. So remember, macro fundamentals, why is the market going to move? It's going to move when expectations don't meet reality, right? So you have to know both things. You have to know what the expectations are and then what the reality is, right? When the announcement comes out. So the first thing we need to do is establish baseline expectations going into any event. Well, how do you do that? Well, one of the best ways to do that is to have a very good news feed. Now, news feeds, you'd think about news feeds, audio squawks as like, okay, who can give me the fastest information, right? And that's a part of it. But what's arguably the most helpful is getting your mind grounded for what the base expectations are. So let me switch over to screens here and show you what I mean. Okay, so we've got a great primer here coming up for the FOMC minutes. Now, why do they put this out, right? Do they just put this out because it's like, they got to fill up some content and put something in there anyway, right? No, they're doing this for a very specific reason. And the reason is traders need to know what the baseline expectation is. So there's details in here where you can see from an objective standpoint, okay, what has Powell said recently? Okay, what are they expecting? Just one cut. Okay, cutting cycle was pushed back upon. The market thinks that actually there's right here, you can see about a 45% probability of a 25 basis point cut in December, right? So it tells you, look at all the speakers that are detailed. Rhetoric from officials has diverged, Logan and Bostic and Hammock and Goolsby, right? So it's telling you the exact baseline of what to expect. Or, but another helpful thing you can do is you can use our rate tracker, and that's going to show you exactly where some of these expectations sit. So a hold is most likely at 58%, a cut at 42%, right? And that's holding up in exactly what was said in the newsfeed, right? So those are your baseline expectations. And then you're going to get a move if you get a significant deviation from those expectations, right? So now that you grounded yourself and you know what to expect, step two is, okay, what actually happens? So when the announcement comes out, right, listen to the feeds, you need to calculate the difference in what actually happens to what was baseline expected, right? So if it comes out, very mixed still, it's about nothing different than what has been told us, right? Then really there's not going to be a lot of move. You look at the interest rate tracker and not much changes from an interest rate probability standpoint. There's not going to be a lot of a move, right? What you want to see is something very different than that baseline. That's what gets you the move. And then you can apply your technicals and get into the market.